Hi, Mr. Villeneuve. First off, congratulations on your new film, and thank you for taking a little bit of your time. I appreciate it.
Oh, no, no, please, Francisco. Nice speaking to you.
So, sir, one of the things I was really impressed with part one was how faithful it was to the book. Part two continues that, but going in, I've always thought the second half of the book was going to be more challenging because of the content and pacing. But, sir, you managed to pull it off, so you've improved upon it. So, I wanted to ask you, when preparing and writing the script for the second part two, was the back end of the book a concern? Or a challenge in any way, and how much thought did you give to this aspect of the adaptation?
No, no, it's like it was massive concerns that we knew, John Spate and I, that part one in a way was easier to write than part two. That part two has a lot of challenges, and one of them was to make sure that we will stay close to Frank Herbert's initial intention, that it was not a celebration of Paul Atreides, but much more a cautionary tale about charismatic leaders and the danger of blending religion and politics, and it's uh, uh, that's what informed this adaptation as much as possible to stay close to his initial intentions.
Another element that I loved about part two is that it's more action based than part one. In part one, you set up the world and the characters. In other words, you present the sandbox and the toys. But this time around, you get to play more time with the toys. So how fun was it to get to do more action this time around? And were you looking forward to this?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You put it very nicely. The part one was really an introduction, like an appetizer, and the main course is definitely part two, and it's like it is a movie that is much more muscular, playful, more action, and you go deeper into the characters' relationships, and it's a more rich, more dense movie. That had so it's like it was definitely much more joyful for a director to be in that zone than part one.
You also take time to go deeper into the mythology of Dune and explore more of the serious themes that are relevant to today, like politics, religion, family, destiny, revenge, corruption, etc. But after thinking about it, after watching it, I really appreciated how all those themes are intertwined with the Paul and Shani relationship. So, would you agree that at its core, part two is kind of like a love story? And if so, was this part of your intention?
Absolutely, and I'm happy you're saying so, because this is the was the I kept saying to my crew that the if we the audience didn't believe in Paul's and Shani's journey, their relationship, there will be no movie. The whole movie is structured on their love story, and that was since the day one and the writing process, my concern that these characters will convey all the elements, the ingredients of the tragedy, and that we will see through Shani's eyes Paul's transformation, and she will become our guideline, and that our way of seeing the Paul's transformation, and she will be the one who will give a critical view on Paul's bold choices, and that was like at the art of the adaptation. This is what makes this adaptation unique from the book.
Throughout your
But
impressive
I will say that this was done because I knew that this was very important for Frank Herbert, and my idea was to make this adaptation very close to Frank's intentions.
and I think he will be really proud about that, sir. Throughout your impressive career so far, you've done incredible films. I mean, but the Dune films, especially part two, they're just so big in ambition and in scale. So I wanted to ask you, moving from part one to part two as a director and a writer, is there something you learned from the first one, from your experience shooting and doing the first one, that you somehow implemented or used when shooting and doing the second part?
Absolutely everything. I'm learning, like any director on earth. I'm learning from my mistakes, and everything. Every time I make a movie, I know I sometimes as an artist, you know, you succeed somewhere and you failed, and as a filmmaker, me, when I watch my movies, I see where I failed, and I'm trying to improve my and to learn from my mistakes, and doing part one, I learned a lot of things, and that I try to correct doing part two, and it's like I think that's what is beautiful about my job is that this constant feeling that you can do better, and that was
I don't.
that what pushed me forward is that the conviction that okay, I was not good enough. I can do better. I can. So I have to go back behind the camera because I didn't succeed 100%. So it's like it's always that movement toward trying to make something that is relevant as a cinematic object, and it's yeah, it's what pushed me forward.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Big fan of your work. Congratulations on part two. I'm looking forward to seeing it again on IMAX, and I can't wait for part three.
Thank you. Take care.